Okay.
Okay. Yo, what's up, Sandwich? Thank you for the 14 months. Holy fuck. 14. What is up? I'm so exhausted. I woke up so late today. And I've just been working on the video all day today. Like literally until 10 minutes ago. And I was doing the final checks and stuff. Amazing video. You made some great points. Guy who didn't watch my video at all. No, if you don't care about like Genshin and stuff like that, I don't expect you to watch the video. You should only watch the video if it interests you. But honestly, I'm not super happy with it. But I think part of it is the fact that I made the promise that if I didn't upload it by today, I would eat a spoonful of mayo. Yeah, that was a pretty big motivator, honestly. Yo, what's up, Bobo? How are you? Let me go watch the rest of the video and then I'll be back. No worries. Thanks for watching the video, though. Dude, there's so many things I want to talk about the video. It's really good so far. Okay, are you actually watching the video? Or just pretending? Like, again, I don't really care if you don't want to watch the video. That's fine. I was actually watching it, but you went live? Oh. Like, honestly, I'm not super dissatisfied with it, but there are a few things in the video that I should have fixed, but then I decided that it would not be worth it. Because then I would have to render the entire video over again. So I was like, you know what? Whatever, man. Yeah, at some point I think the video went over like 10 minutes and then I didn't want to make it any... Well, I wanted to make it shorter because I don't like when it goes over 10 minutes. If it doesn't have to. So I spent a lot of time like cutting stuff that felt repetitive. Shit like that. Dude, I didn't actually expect it to take so long. If you consider that my video is like about 8 minutes long and I spent probably... Okay, well, if you want to include how long it actually took to record the footage for the video also, it probably took me about like 20 hours to do the whole thing. That is like... Actually, it probably took me more than 20 hours. Because it took me 8 hours to record the whole story. It probably took me around like 10 to 15 hours to edit the whole video. And then I probably spent like 6 hours just thinking about how to make it. I have an idea. What's your idea, Kaka? I want to double check because I forgot. Was it confirmed that the fake twin was a creation from the Wild Hunt Revere? I don't think there was like a super official confirmation, but the gist of it was that... Okay, I don't know if... Okay, I haven't played the 6.1 story yet, so maybe it's in there somewhere. I don't know, but... What is it? Essentially, the Abyss is tied to the Wild Hunt in some way, and then the twin is like a creation of... Like a manifestation of the Wild Hunt / Abyss thing. Whatever. So it's like, it's related. I don't know to what extent exactly, but... We should watch the video on stream. Okay, do you guys actually want to... I just watched the news, it's peak. Okay, did you actually? I can't tell who comes in here and says they watched it, even though they didn't watch it. Like, I can't tell. Do you guys actually want to watch the video? The ratings are very spooky. Wait, who noticed something about the ratings? Wait, who noticed? Wait, I gave my ratings at the end, and then while I was going through and editing it, I was like, I'm like 3 minutes in. Should we go over the video? I mean, it's not like I really care about the views and shit. It's like, honestly, I don't care, but... Okay, I guess I can talk about it then. It feels weird, like... Sarah, what the hell did you do yesterday? I woke up with like a cold, sort of. That like I'm not sure if it was actually a cold or not, but I woke up and like my whole body was like sore in the way that you feel when you have a cold. You know what I mean? And I had like a bit of a sore throat. I was like, yeah, I'm probably not streaming today or doing much of anything. So I literally just sat down, fucking like watched YouTube and then like edited. That's literally it yesterday. Trying to leave something crazy happen? No, I don't think it was that serious though. I just think it was better for me to like, not stream yesterday or talk that much yesterday. Okay, let's we can watch the video then. I don't mind. I know some people are like, no, you have to watch my video so you inflict the view count, but if you guys don't mind, I can talk about the video. I also don't want to listen to myself. Every time you leave, something crazy happens. That cat. Oh yeah, I saw there's like a new hurricane that got formed. I was like, sure, that can't be a coincidence, right? Okay, why's the quality so shit? Okay, so what is there to even talk about? Like, okay, well, I'm gonna skip the intro part because the intro part is just me talking about like what I'm gonna talk about in this video. So I might as well just get to actually talking about the stuff in this video. But hold on, let me pause the music. Okay. Actually, is the audio okay? I haven't checked. So starting with the first. Okay, it's kind of loud actually. Okay, the one thing I did this video is I was very like focused on like the audio mixing, which is still kind of shit in my opinion, but I think it's better than last time because before you'd have to raise your volume a lot more to like hear something, and my mic is really shit, so sometimes I like peak or sometimes the mic doesn't pick up and I don't notice while I'm editing it. So yeah. First act of version 6.0, you get a little introductory tour to Not Cry, which to me wasn't bad, but I did feel like it dragged on in some places. The entire introduction to Not Cry takes nearly an hour if you take your time, so I couldn't help but notice instances that didn't feel super necessary. Like, I get why we meet Flynn's and Dory, for example, but I just feel like you can introduce them in the story in a way that's more natural and also in a way that makes the presence feel more impactful. Okay, hopefully this point makes sense because I was thinking about it while I was editing it. But wait, I kind of agree. You don't even play this game. What do you mean you kind of agree? See, this is what I mean when I can't tell if... Whatever, man. Okay. Anyways, I wasn't sure if I would be able to get this, like if I got this point across properly, because I think to some people it can be subjective on whether or not like a character, like the point a character appears in the story is super relevant to them, because I think when you want to introduce a character into the story, you can do it either very... I think off the top of my head, I can think of two really good ways to introduce characters into the story. One is like super in a super subtle way, where like you kind of introduce them for the first time, but they seem like a side character, right? But then they actually end up becoming a super important character later on. You just don't know it yet. But that's like a good way to introduce a character in a story in a way where it's like a delayed reaction kind of setup. And then you have the other kind where the character shows up when something really important happens, and then there's like a big connection between the two, and then you're like, wow, this guy's fucking cool, or whatever. I think the way it's done here is like, okay, this was these were my actual thoughts when I was playing through the quest. Was that when Flynn's appeared here, I was like, oh, this is cool, because when you play through a Genshin patch, right, you kind of know what the focus characters are before you play the story, because obviously, you know, it's in the announcements and stuff. But ain't that like One Piece? That, yeah, wait, okay. If you're talking about the first way, that is kind of like One Piece, where they just introduce characters in One Piece. That's like, it's just like an old man, right? And he seems like a bum, and but then later out you find out that he was fucking like one of the strongest people in the world, right? Like, I got what you meant by this. The meeting right outside where I'm asleep was a bit weird. But then again, at least we met for a moment before story inclusive. See, okay, the thing is, I wouldn't have a problem with this if he was relevant at all throughout like the entire Act 1, right? Like the entire. But when I started 6.0, I forgot that there were 2 acts normally in the main story quest for like each new region, right? So I thought it was only Act 1, and then he didn't appear at all until the very end. And I was just thinking to myself the whole time, I was like, why the fuck did they include Flynn's this patch if he doesn't even show up in the story? And then obviously he shows up at the end when you finish fighting the Wild Hunt, right? Which I talk about a bit in this video. But then he just doesn't do anything for this entire act. So I'm like, why the fuck does he need to show up here? Why doesn't he just show up at the end, and then that becomes a good segue into Act 2, which is only about Flynn's, right? Like, what's wrong with Flynn's just showing? Yeah, like, okay, like here, right? This is at the end of Act 1. This scene was at the beginning of Act 1. So in like the 3-hour span that you're sitting through the story, he doesn't show up again like a single time. He's basically not even mentioned again, like in a relevant way either. And then he shows up again at the end, and then after this you go into Act 2, which is all about Flynn's. It's like you can just introduce him here as the Wild Hunt guy and as the Lightkeeper, and then you can just segue into Act 2 from there. And I think that's a lot better. The point here, I think, is you can completely get rid of this part and it doesn't really change that much. Obviously, this has a little bit of relevance when you get into Act 2, where you guys talk about like a hiding spot for him because he starts getting fucking chased because like he gets framed as a criminal or whatever. And like this is the reference point to where you guys go back to. But it's like there are so many workarounds around that I feel like that's not even a valid point you can argue as to why this scene is specifically necessary. And this is like only one of the examples I think throughout the whole story where I'm like, yeah, this part, like, it's not a bad thing really that this part is here, but it's like kind of unnecessary. Like, it doesn't have to be here. If you wrote the story a little better, you wouldn't need to include this part, kind of thing. I think that's a major problem. A lot of not even just like game story, like gotcha story, just like story writing in general has is like people don't know where to cut out bloat and like shit you don't really need. It's like maybe the author has some sort of vision in their head as to what they think is necessary to include, but the vision is like in their head so much that they have a hard time like presenting it in a way that's understandable for the general audience too. Even if Flynn's was brought up only in conversations with others during Act 1, I reckon would have been fine. Adds mystery. Yeah, I think that's also true, but like I don't specifically remember if he gets brought up in Act 1, like in reference as like a Lightkeeper. I feel like he does get brought up by Paimon about the whole fact that like they met this weird guy at the flagship tavern or whatever. But like all of that is a lot more unnecessary than like it doesn't add anything and it's so forgettable. And then when you add a lot of these specific scenes on and then you just have like a whole segment of it, it's just a whole segment of shit you don't need. And it's like, okay, well, like, and then you get halfway through the story, you're like, I'm getting kind of tired. Like, nothing cool has happened. Ocean, thank you for the lurk. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
And also pretty irrelevant for the entirety of Act 1 anyways. Even then though, I definitely did enjoy meeting all the relevant characters in Nodcry, but some of the interactions could have been more interesting, like the Flynn's example I just mentioned. Yeah, I didn't get to include like if I really wanted to go super in depth, I would have talked about like all of the characters specifically that we met at like kind of the beginning and how they play into the relevance of the story, but I chose not to because honestly, I don't think it's super necessary and like the average player probably doesn't read into that like super in a super detailed way, so I was like, whatever, you kind of get the point. Especially because in some instances, I thought the portrayal of the key characters were actually really good. The little like okay, I think this whole scene, it's kind of hard to portray the full scene here, but this is one scene I remember in particular where because of how because of Nefer's identity as like the like one of the biggest like information brokers in all of Genshin, and like she's supposed to be super intelligent and super cunning, and then her getting tricked by Llama, even though like she technically knows what like who Llama is and like what she can do, like her getting tricked by Llama into like agreeing to something, agreeing to a losing bet pretty much, I think was an interesting reaction that kind of shows the dynamic between like all the major characters in this story in particular. And that well, that doesn't seem like a super major thing. It like subtly adds character to okay, more than character. It adds personality to the important characters that you're trying to add personality to. But it's like it's such an obvious thing that I feel like a lot of people don't truly understand sometimes. Okay, in isolation, this one specific interaction is like super plain and ordinary, right? But then when you add a lot of these things together, it becomes like that's how you build a character's personality. So I like things like this, even though it looks kind of plain by itself. When you add a lot of these things together, it's pretty important to what a character is like. So the little interactions you get through the dialogue were really good in showcasing their personalities, and it is kind of hard to see the full thing here if you don't know the context. Is mainly due to Yehoda, who I thought was really interesting, not just because of the whole facial emoji facial expressions gimmick that she has, but because you okay, this part okay, I'm only a minute into the video. I'm like yapping so much, but I guess that just goes to show how much I cut out of the video, I feel like. Um okay, each Genshin region since Natlan has had this like gimmick character where they have like a bunch of like goofy facial expressions with like and they're kind of like emojis a little bit. And I think they're gonna experiment with that a lot more this region. Um it's kind of weird because she's a 4-star. She's supposed to be a very irrelevant character, but I think she's one of the more popular Genshin characters now because of how she's portrayed in the story. And I think that kind of goes to show how like I talked about like just now how like a lot of the little interactions in the story, while they seem kind of like ordinary and like obvious on their own, they like add on to each other and they supplement each other in a way that's like wait, this character is actually kind of cool. Yeah, especially with the extra sound effects with reactions as well as Paimon. Yeah, I think they got a lot of positive feedback from that, which I think is good, but they need to not overplay it, which honestly I forgot to mention in this video because there's definitely going to be a point where stuff like this happening is going to become like too normal and it's not going to feel as special anymore. But I think Yehoda was actually surprisingly one of my more favorite characters in the whole story, even though I kind of went into it expecting not to care about her that much because okay, well, I kind of explain it in a bit, learned throughout the story that she isn't a super linear character. Like when you first meet her, she's kind of this unreliable scaredy cat worker from the scriptorium, but as you work with her, you learn she has her own. Okay, also that's a misspeak. It's called the curatorium of secrets, not the scriptorium. But well, let's just pretend I didn't misspeak. Moral code and her own motivations. And overall, she's just a really goofy, down to earth character. She's like okay, Yehoda's character in general is a pretty. It's like a character trope that I see occasionally, and it's not super uncommon. But it's like okay, so when you first meet her, she gets commissioned, and she's like, "What the fuck? Why am I here?" Like these people are so fucking like, because you guys go on a mission, and then she's your guide for the mission. She's like, "This place is way too fucking dangerous," and she tries to come up with ways to convince you to not go and give up on whatever you're supposed to do. Obviously, she can't do that. But then as you go throughout the mission, like at first you're like, wow, this bitch is kind of annoying. But then you kind of get into the mission and then she's like, you know, like when you get trapped in the lasers thing, which I didn't include, even though I probably should have. She's like, okay, I'm gonna stay behind, I'm gonna help you. And then at this point, you tell her like, okay, I'm gonna jump down this huge fucking hole. You don't have to come with us because this is where our like contract ends. But she's like, okay, I'm scared as fuck, but I feel obligated to see this through because you know we went on this whole mission together. And she follows you down into like the pit. And then she's like, yeah, this is a big fucking mistake, but whatever. Character, in my opinion, which I think is kind of refreshing in Genshin sometimes. Actually, related to the portrayal of characters, though, I thought the appearance of the twin was one of the most interesting parts of this act. I think it grabs your attention because we've been conditioned to kind of get excited at anything related to the sibling. Partially because it's so mysterious and we haven't gotten much of it. So it gives you that, oh, something's gonna happen feeling. The characterization of the fake twin brings out a sense of discomfort of whether or not you actually know what's happening. And overall, it's just pretty good at building suspense and conflict in the story for this act. Not really related to that. I was disappointed. Okay, this part. Okay, hopefully that part made sense. Okay, so this is like the sibling you get separated with at the very beginning of Genshin, like whatever happened 5 years ago. And then she shows up in a way where like you actually get to interact with her for the first time, honestly, in like pretty much since the beginning of the game. And when I first played through the act for the story, I was like, you're kind of hesitant because like it seems kind of unreal. Like it feels very out of place. And throughout the various dialogue options, the way the sibling interacts with the player is very odd sometimes though. Like there's only like for every like 20-30 lines that the sibling has, there's like 1 or 2 lines that sound really off. But you go through and then like it sounds off, but then you keep going and then it returns to normal again. And then it gets odd again and then it gets normal again and then until finally at the end where she like fucking turns really it gets kind of creepy. Not really related. Where she's like she just tries to force you to do something. And then that's when you're like, okay, something's definitely not right, and then you black out, right? And I think overall this is really good because they don't give away enough, in my opinion, to fully convince you of the fact that this is not your actual sibling and that this is a fake created by like another force. But like it's unsettling, right? And I like how it doesn't get immediately resolved in like this particular segment of the game, even though like it's kind of obvious because it leaves you to think. But I also do like that it gets resolved in this act specifically because I think if this plotline drags out more, it gets too complicated and it's not worth like the setup for this specific plotline in itself is not worth extra development. So I like how it adds extra at building suspense and conflict in the story for this act. Not really related to that, I was disappointed when a major plot point of this act was dedicated solely to Wilhelmina, a character from the Frostmoon Scions we don't really get a chance to interact with that much and feel attached to. And it just lessened the impact of the whole scene overall, where she's supposed to cut off her antlers in what I thought was supposed to be super emotional and disturbing, but at a certain point it just didn't feel that way. Because when you compare it to something like Capitano's sacrifice or what happened in Fontaine with Farina, this part was something that I called out immediately when I played through the story. But this whole segment where she betrays her leader, and the price when you betray the leader is you have to cut your antlers off. But then it's like when in, say you're reading a book or something, or you're watching a show, there's like a side character that like dies, right? But you don't really get a chance to, like, okay, there are side characters that die and get really fucking sad, and then there's side characters that die and you're like, I don't give a fuck, right? This is one of those cases where a side character dies and you don't give a fuck. Because none of your interactions with her, no matter how few they may be, are meaningful, really. They're not emotional. They don't really, like, if you replace this with like another, like, it doesn't have to be her. Like, this whole, like, okay, maybe if they made this a cutscene in the actual story, it would have been more impactful. But then you also have these like jank ass fucking models like trying to do something that they're not programmed to do. Granted, the voice acting was good at this part, but I just sat there. I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to feel sad or like uncomfortable, but I just don't. And maybe I just have no empathy or something. But like, I don't know. I don't know how they turn such, like, what is supposed to be such an emotional and impactful moment into something that's like so bland. You're like, okay, well, I like, you could see it coming, I guess. It's like, okay, maybe some people took the, like, I don't know how other people react to this part, if I'm being honest. So I have no reference to work with, but this I think was one of the biggest mood killers for me in this act in general. Which I don't know if in this video I was able to get that point like across as strongly as I did, as I wanted to. But well, now you know. Proper antlers. In what I happened in Fontaine. Okay, especially because when you, obviously these are, okay, the one important distinction that I forgot to make actually is that in here, I think this is more supposed to be a character story quest plotline than a main story quest plotline, and then the comparisons I make here are more related to the main story quest. But even then, if you're gonna integrate the character story quest into the main story quest, like, don't give me this fucking slop. Give me like something that's more impactful, because if this was a separate character story quest, it would have been a whole ass cutscene. I know it would have, because of how they did the shit in Natland with their character story quest. So like, that pisses me off, because now you're just cutting corners. Character that it revolves around. And to me, it definitely stood out as a clear downside of what integrating the character story quest into the main story quest looked like. And yeah, speaking of, Hoyo really did not lie when they said they were going to get rid of character story quest. It was pretty clear to me that Llama's story quest was intentionally integrated into Act 1 of the main story. And I say that like it's a bad thing, but in all honesty, I was sort of impressed. Maybe because my expectations were just low, but you get to learn more about Llama throughout the main story quest in a way that's like the original character story quest, but just woven into the main plotline of the act in a way that's relevant, I guess. The issues within the Frostmoon Scions and the struggles that Llama has to deal with due to her position are relevant to the traveler's desire for the Moon Marrow, which ends up being the source of conflict throughout the whole act in general. However, the cost of removing character story quests does mean that overall you have a lower quality experience learning about a specific character because there just isn't a dedicated space to portray them super freely anymore. Don't look at all the shit I didn't do. Oh nah. There just isn't a dedicated space. Look at my fucking okay, thank God I scrolled to the end here. Bro, look at all the shit I didn't do, bro. Space to portray them super freely anymore. And wait, they made this change for people like me, honestly. I can't even complain. You get a slightly more okay, this is the big thing for me. I don't know if this is a good thing because based on how many character story quests I haven't done yet, which is kind of a lot. So our last version was or version sequence was Genshin 5.0, right? And the Genshin 5.0 main story quest took 6 hours on average for like a person who paces themselves in like a normal way. And then the Genshin 6.0 main story takes that same person 8 hours, right? But the difference is there are no character story quests for 6.0, then and there's 3 for okay, granted 3 is a lot still. But even if we just say like 1 or 2 per patch, it still comes out to around the same, if not a little more. But at that point, it becomes like what content is optional, right? Obviously, no one's forcing you to do the main story, but if you're playing this game, chances are like you're probably trying to play the main story. This is what the case is for the average person. So is the trade-off where you have to spend an extra 2 hours doing the main story like justified? And I think that's the whole argument where like if you water down your main story just so you can force your people to play content, but at the same time, is it actually forcing people to play content? I don't know. It like reduces the bloat in the game overall though, because you don't really have like shit just sitting there. Like there are obviously good thing like trade-offs and benefits main story, but I guess you also get a less bloated game overall. So I'm not exactly sure if the trade-off is worth it, but I guess we'll just have to see going forward. Now, moving on to Act 2 of version 6.0, I think I can say that overall I enjoyed Act 2 decently more than Act 1 because it just felt better paced and there was more action. I also enjoyed how seemingly mundane things like fixing the cannon or learning about the moon marrow shield, things that don't feel super important actually become very relevant later on in the story and making these connections. Okay, honestly, I felt that I like for some reason I didn't feel like cutting this out, but I feel like this was kind of a counterpoint to something I said earlier because the beginning of Act 2 is kind of like I don't know. But okay, I guess I didn't explain it enough because it sounds kind of counterintuitive to what I mentioned earlier in the fact that there's a lot of slop at like the beginning of the story for each of these patches. But then in Act 2, they like add something that seems kind of like slop, right? And they give you a bunch of details that are like, okay, sure. Like you see it and like you kind of forget about it. But then later on it becomes super relevant. And I really like things like that because it's like, oh, remember when that happened? And it's like it seems like such a minor relevant thing that actually is super important, but you understand the importance of it later and you like start making those connections. And I think that feeling is important and really good if you're trying to create an engaging story. And there's a big difference here, but I don't know if a lot of people are going to get it. And like I feel like a lot of people are going to equate whatever happens at the beginning of Act 2 to the beginning of Act 1. Because you can technically say that oh, like if you're in a new environment and like getting to learn the area is important, but it's not the same thing in the sense that one is very much done with a story oriented focus and the other is done with a like I don't know, like what's the way to describe it, like a more game oriented focus where they're forcing you to explore and like understand Nodcry and like Nausea Town and stuff, which I think is kind of stupid because you can make exploring Nodcry into like an event quest, and you would have like the same impact. But things that don't feel super important actually become very relevant later on in the story, and making these connections within Genshin story make the story a lot more interesting in my opinion. And when they do it right, it rewards actually paying attention to the story, which I'm a huge fan of. I did have a... Yeah, I also think, okay, I didn't want to say this in the video because it sounds very like aggressive, but I think a lot of the details that people shrug off are kind of due to the fact that there are a lot of people who play this game and don't actually pay attention in the story, and like they'll see, like I definitely saw someone see the Traveler put up the fucking shield or help put up the shield, and they'd be like, wait, how the fuck did he do that? And then completely forget about this detail at the beginning where he learns how to do that. And like of course you think the story is a lot worse because you don't fucking pay attention. All the little things that may help the story come together, you miss, and then you fixate on all the shit that doesn't matter. I did. And then you just equate everything as shit that doesn't matter if it's not like a super hype aura moment. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna have an issue with some of the more technical things in this act though. Like one of them was the drink mixing mini game that they had. That was such an epic scene. Yeah, I was fucking... This scene was fucking great. Because the whole time, I think in Genshin in general, you, like, rarely do you actually lose, right? So when they build this whole scene up to being some sort of, like, catastrophe almost that they need to stop from happening, but then they fail to stop it, and then Rerir gets all his fucking power, or most of his power back. Okay, not even most, like a fraction of his power back. It's like, oh shit. And then he aura farms the shit out of you over here. Fucking steps out of the portal. Comments I have about this. He's like fucking Rerir was cool as an antagonist. And then he bitches you. And then you compare to that the whatever the fuck this is. Okay, like I dude, when I got this part of the game, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because they just give you an ingredient list on the side, and they give you like instructions for something that's supposed to seem super complicated apparently, and then you just click on the 3 things and you start mixing, and that's it. One of them was the drink mixing mini game that they had. I'm glad the dev team is trying out different... They make you do this like 6 times, and it's so fucking boring. Like, why did they even add things? But the quality of it was so underwhelming that it kind of just made me bored. Another instance was, there was this one time when Flynn's was telling us about his past, but it was just a couple of shots. Okay, this part was actually like a huge fuck up for me in my opinion, because when you get to this part in the game, this is like kind of Flynn's revealing his secret past to you, where because he asked you not to tell anybody else, right? And the fact that he's a Fae, but he gives like this whole analogy about like, oh, you realize you're floating in the middle of a vast ocean, and then like he doesn't know what to do in life, and he like kind of gave up on life, right? And then it's just him fucking standing in like a black screen, like a black background with nothing there of his face with a black background. And I just thought it could have been a perfect place for like, what is this, man? Why is it just like it? Okay, this shot could have been so beautiful. Like, it doesn't even have to be that long. It could be like a 10, 50 second or 15 second like shot cinematic. Like, that just could have been super, like, okay, hold on. Let me try to find, like, it doesn't even have to be super crazy or anything or super long. Like, okay, they showed this at some point. It's like 2 minutes, right? And it's just like an animation of like her doing shit. Like, stuff happening, like it doesn't even have to be a fucking a cinematic or anything. It can just be a fucking still image that's just like really beautiful to look at, and there's so much potential here. Like, okay, granted, I'm not the most like imaginatively creative person out there, but like if you want to use the ocean analogy and you don't like you can show him fucking okay off the top of my head, like I can probably imagine a scene where he's like just given up on life and he's just like floating in like a metaphorical ocean and he's just like sinking. And like you know that you know those like scenes in movies or like shows or whatever where like someone's like given up, right? And they're like sinking to the bottom of an ocean and it's getting darker and darker and then like someone pulls them out of it or some shit. Like, okay, sure that's a little cliche and cringe, but you can do that here. Like it can be cliche and cringe, but it'll still be beautiful at least. Like it'll still look cool. With a black. Why the fuck do you just put a black? Like I get. It could have been a perfect place for some sort of pre-rendered cutscene, or I get the metaphorical sense in which this composition is done, but it's so fucking plain and boring. Like have some artistic sense, please. Cinematic or whatever you want to call it. But okay, even if you don't want to put one there, the quality of that scene has just so much potential. And it ends up being so. Just wake up to these jank ass NPC. Okay, pre-rendered cutscenes in general are supposed to feel cool and meaningful, and they're like this is so fun. Okay, this is the Flynn's teaser that came out like before he got released. This shit was so fucking cool because he's just a chill guy, but then the guy he helped. Okay, so context of the teaser is that there's a merchant that came to Nodcry and he was getting attacked and Flynn's helped him. But he, for some reason, is able to see Flynn's as something more than he presents on the outside. And to him, Flynn seems like super creepy, right? But like Flynn's is just trying to help him out. Attention. So I just wish they had one for Flynn's in some way. And I just can't help but think, like, look at what they're doing here, man. Tried to integrate character story quests into the main story. We could have gotten something more special for Flynn's. Like, how fucking cool is that? From Act 1, because I don't think she really had one either. For some, like, you're having all this fucking, you have like literal gold and then you cover it with shit. Like, what? I didn't even think about it much before, but like now that you mention it, the potential missing that scene. Yeah, I think a lot of things that people don't notice when it comes to this, it's easy to bash on the things that you notice, that you automatically notice are of poor quality, right? But I think for me, sometimes when something stands out and like I like to think creatively sometimes when I'm playing through a story that's supposed to be artistically driven, is that when you get to a scene that's like, it's like okay, but then there's a lot of missed potential that stands out to me. Like a lot. And it hurts me more than like when something's really bad. Because like, okay, like imagine you fucking put money in the stock market, right? And like you bought like Nvidia at like $1 and then you got scared and you sold everything at like $10. And like right now it's like what? Like fucking 100, like I don't know, like $80 or something. Or like Bitcoin or some shit, right? Like you sold Bitcoin when it was like $1,000. Like that's what it feels like to me. That feeling is infinitely worse to me than like if I just took a loss on like, okay, say I bought Bitcoin for like $100,000 and now it's only 90,000 and I need to sell everything, right? That hurts, right? But fucking me selling Bitcoin at $1,000 and then not just holding on to it feels a lot worse to me, which is the comparison I'm trying to make here, if that makes sense. More minor comments I have about this act. I thought Revere was cool as an antagonist. His existence not being done within this one act gives some sense of direction as to what major conflicts are going to be like in Notcry. Okay, Revere just fucking aura farms this like entire act, which is kind of cool. And a lot of people will take away like Revere being like cool and a fucking daddy or whatever from this. But I really like that how this specific act, like it just sets him up to be like some giga boss. And like it doesn't just end in one patch. Granted, I've heard some things about 6.1 and his involvements in it, but dude, like how cool is it that they can make a villain that's not just a default fucking Fatui like mob and then like default model alongside the like he's probably not even going to be playable. Have to worry about. Like, yeah, it's this whole fucking
also got jump
animation
scared
when Llama ulted, but I honestly thought that was a nice touch because I kind of like when actual game mechanics
whatever,
interact
honestly.
with the story in some way. But overall, when I look back on both acts, for the most part, I think I have somewhat positive things to say. I think we get some more of the specific interactions to say like, and that's fine. I think the fact that they're willing to try new things to improve the quality of the game, even if it doesn't always work out. Okay, that's like kind of the end of the video. Story quest integration. So I do think there's still a lot of work to be done, but I did find that I enjoyed the beginning of Not Cry a bit more than the beginning of Netland. So I do take that as a good sign. If I had to rate the two acts in terms of how much I personally enjoyed them, I would give Act 1 around a 6 out of 10 and Act 2 a 7 out of 10.
This was not intentional,
and obviously
by the way.
this is not meant to be some sort of objective rating. But yeah, overall I felt pretty positive about the story this patch, and I hope people were able to enjoy it as much as I did at the very least.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, honestly. There's like a little bit at the end that's like kind of just me yapping a little bit more and summarizing stuff that if you really care you can go listen to on your own. But the hurting to my own voice kind of hurts me, so hopefully that is like insightful in some way. I feel like the whole video doesn't feel super like perfectly coherent and stuff, so it does bother me a little bit, but great video, mate. Appreciate it. But yeah, I do need to play through 6.1 soon, and then I'll put my thoughts on that, because I heard 6.1 might be one of the greatest stories that Genshin has produced since the game came out. So I really need to see what that's about, but that was a lot of yapping. I just yapped about that for like 40 minutes. Holy fuck. But yeah, hopefully that's like... I think, okay, the point of those videos for me is the one, like, document how I thought about something, because I forget really easily how I felt about something I played through. But also, I really enjoy when people are able to, like, watch it and, like, provide their opinion on it. Even if it's an opinion I don't necessarily agree with, and most of the time I won't agree with. But it just gives me insight into how a lot of people think about, like, approaching a game. Because what I realized recently is that, like, a lot of people think there's a objectively correct way to approach a game, but there really isn't. And it's kind of strange to me, because I think one of the best parts about playing games in general is the fact that you're able to approach them in so many different ways. Like, I can solve a puzzle in a game, like, in more than one way. I can... I don't know, like, I could play Genshin in... Like, maybe I'm a story lore player, right? Or maybe I'm a endgame focused player, where I only focus on the combat. And, like, when I made my Honkai Star Rail video last time, like, I checked today and it was like 2 months ago. I was like, there were a lot of people that to me said, like, a lot of the opinions I thought that were provided in the comments there were pretty fucking stupid and made no sense. But then I kind of thought about it a little, and it's like, not that they're stupid, it's more that they're just surface level, but it's not even wrong. Like, it's not wrong to be surface level. Or, like, think about it in, like, a super simple way. Because that's how some people just ignore it. Some people don't give a fuck about the story. So yeah, that's my whole rant about making YouTube videos. But okay, I honestly don't know if that was worth spending like 20 to 30 hours on, but for like an 8-minute video. But hopefully somebody gets a kick out of it. I think it's interesting, even a little bit. And then I have to start working on the next one tomorrow. Then I have to do the HSR one before the next patch comes over. Dude, the next HSR patch is in 1 week. So you finished the 2 new acts? No, I didn't. I was gonna do that today, but I'm so tired. I literally woke up and I've been working on this shit all day. Yeah, because the mustard was waiting for me. I made a bet that if I didn't get the video out by Tuesday, I would eat a spoonful of mustard. Cause I fucking hate mustard. Honestly, I think it did well. Cause honestly, it probably would have taken me at least another 2 or 3 days for like minor changes that I would have made. But yeah, I'll do. I don't know. Should I do? I kind of want to do it on stream, but the new axe for Genshin. I don't know. I'm so exhausted though. Anyways, how are you guys all doing today? I didn't ask you guys because we got straight into the video thing, but hope everyone's doing well. Sorry I didn't stream for like the past few days. I try not to stream on weekends, and I was sick yesterday, so I decided I'd just keep working on my video and try to get it out today, which actually happened, which is nice. I'm doing good. Good to hear. I'll probably stream again. Okay, I'm not ending, but okay, so the plan for this week, by the way, is I'm streaming on Friday for Halloween for sure, unless like I get hit by a car or something. And then I'll probably be live like either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure what day yet. Wait, Bobo, if you're still here, how long are Act 3 and 4, like the new quest? Am I fine? Just farming for primos? Me too, man. Me too. Lengthy? Oh god. Oh jeez. Like Ken, you don't take damage from this? So I'm gonna assume like the acts total take like 8 hours total. Probably the same as last time. That is going to be very fun. How do I get over here? Got a lot of work to do? Yeah, I do. And I think I have stuff I have to do tomorrow also. Oh my god, bro. I have to edit the HSR video, I have to do the Genshin story, and then edit that, and then... I'm on Discord to my friend the new story, and after like 6 hours, I still wasn't finished with the first part. 6 hours for the first part? Oh no. Somebody save me. It's breakable. So much story content packed in there. I really took it in though. Okay, would it be like, is it worth doing on stream? Like, are there like hype moments that I can react to and like, you know? Or would it be better if I just did it off stream? In that sense. In both acts? Oh my god. So it's better if I do it on stream? I can pog, but yeah, anything for me to pog it? Oh my god, bro.
I'm down though. I do want to play some like other games soon too, but I think we're gonna be gacha pilled for a while. Might be stupid. Yeah, I'm definitely okay. Friday, will the day off? What? I mean, I'll be streaming Friday. If that's what you're asking. Question: have you done most world quests in Fontaine? Funny enough, actually, the only one I haven't finished are unfinished. I haven't finished Unfinished Comedy and In the Wake of Narcissus, or whatever it's called. Everything else I think I've finished. Because the Unfinished Comedy one, where you have to go through the prison, is so fucking boring. Well, honestly, I don't really care for spoilers too much about that. Like, world quests are kind of whatever. Friday will be the day off. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I think I want to have like, okay, maybe because normally I stream like 3 days a week, right? Maybe I think the plan is 2 gacha days a week and then 1 like non gacha day. This is kind of what I've been trying to do recently, but we'll see how that works out. Go here. And then the dailies. Okay, I got the world spoiled for me today, so I can't do it today, but I hate to inform you. Well, actually, unless it turns like 12 and it changes, which is kind of soon, but hold on. I'll do it myself. Servers. Do you at least have an understanding of Mary Ann and the Narcissan cruise? I don't super remember. But I do remember being in that like fucking chamber and then like talking to Seymour or whatever, the robot dog. Was that his name? I like did all that. And then like I talked to the lady at like the house that's like in the middle of nowhere, but like she's not actually alive or something. It's been a long time since I've done the Fontaine World Quest though, so my memory's not perfect. But what is this even for? You can't even make it to there. Hello? Oh yeah, wait, no. Is this about the whole moon clock thingy that I saw on Twitter? No, it's not that hard actually.
Yeah, I did not know that. Oh. Is this the other current? Yeah, wait, what happened? Whatever, I just got unlucky? Did something happen? Hello? But yeah, apparently there was a, there's like a moon clock. And, in Fontaine related to those quests that, like, show that only a part of the moon related to that is something about that. Oh, fuck me, man. After all of that, I just learned it here as well. You have to E and then sprint over. I've never done that on this thing in my life. But E and then sprint over? Okay, there's no way you're supposed to E and then... Oh, on the Wordle, oh. Okay, the Wordle was kind of fucked today, from what I saw. Oh my god, I did not know you could do that. Wait, if you weren't here, I would have been so fucked. I hope you know that. What on earth is that? What the hell? Did not know that. I feel all over the place today. I've just been... I went insane before I realized. You know what the best part is? I would have gone insane and also never realized, so... I almost have enough for 2 pulls. Please, Nefer, please. I only asked for one thing. I have enough Versa and it still didn't click? I mean, it's not like this shit clicks easily, honestly. Fucking, like these stupid ass dinos do not move like very fluidly, so... Oh yeah, while I was enough is here. Hi, enough.
これで修理か。すごいもしこのまま治らなかったら。以前愛のがライトキーパーの皆さんにそうすれば今後は街灯が故障するたびに。
Lucky, just like their Archon. Wait, you get it. Me when I have to learn to do like 20 input dash cancels to play my character properly. And then when I try to stop dashing, it just doesn't stop and instead it just sends me off the mountain. Malvika feels so clunky to play. It's so disgusting. I can't believe I'm talking to like NPCs to get primos. This is fucked up. What's my attempt at memes in the Discord because it's a joke? This Wordle sucked. Yeah. Honestly, thank God I didn't do that Wordle on stream today. I got it spoiled because that shit would have taken me forever. Oh yeah, I was editing my video yesterday and I was watching like a bunch of games that were on. Like, dude, there was like the World Series game yesterday, like baseball finals, was so crazy that it started leaking over into like other Twitch chats. Fucking nobody gives a shit about baseball either. So I was like, what the fuck is happening? Holy fuck, one of the longest baseball games in history. But yeah, it was game 3 of the World Series yesterday for baseball. And the game went to like 18 innings or something. So they basically played 2 games in one. It was like giga overtime. I was like, why the fuck are people talking about the Dodgers in my League of Legends Worlds chat room? And I go look at the scores, like they've been playing for fucking like 8 hours. I'm like, oh god. It almost made history as the longest game in baseball history. I know is that the Packers won. Okay, and nobody cares about the Packers. Not the two worlds colliding. Yeah, I was getting ready to watch Worlds yesterday, which were some banger games. And then I just see people talking about like someone hitting the walk-off home run in the 18th inning. I was like, wait, aren't baseball games 9 innings? And then I learned that they played 2 games in 1 game. You're a Saibao. Okay. Sorry.
私の解析し瞑想の目的一般的な人間にとってですが私にとって非常にヤフォダさんの機能を一部停止してしまったら健康に被害が
I saw people argue about like the relevance of American football in the entire world. I was like, I don't think anyone outside of the United States cares about American football, but they were insistent that it has to be bigger than like basketball or some shit. I was like, okay, there's no point in arguing. You can just look it up. Yeah, I can't believe I stayed up all night yesterday watching Worlds. I felt ill after. I fell asleep at like 6 a.m. by the way. Dude, the games are too good. You gremlin? Okay. Okay, but did you watch the games though? Oh, that's why you're damn tired? Well, yeah. There's an exquisite chest in here. You're paid. You didn't give me anything. I did? The fucking game 2? I mean, that's just... Now that's cinema. That League game almost lasted a fucking hour. That's probably why I went to sleep so late, actually. Okay, but like, why are League, like, champs storylines so... Like, why do they go so crazy? Peanut's last game before he has to retire and go to the military. And then, literally... Okay, for context, for those that don't play League games normally last, like, if they get long, they kind of last around, like, 40 to 45 minutes. But the League game yesterday lasted almost an hour. And those 15 minutes are, like, an eternity. So it was a pretty big fucking deal. Why did the Yankees suck? Why do all the New York teams suck? Why does NA suck?
Yeah, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch. I think CFO's playing today, right? For Worlds. I'll probably watch a few games of that and try to sleep early at least. Dude, my sleep schedule has been so fucked up because of the Worlds. Because for some reason they put every T1 game at 5 a.m. my time. These fucking bastards. This is not open. Hello? Oh fuck, wait, yo, help! I thought I trapped myself. Oh shit. Dude, November, or like late October, November is always a bad time. Because that's when like all the sports and like esports happens. And then I get like motivated to actually do things, but like for example, play League. Big mistake. Let me tell you. I'm one free go off? No. The esports don't make money? Yeah. Esports don't make money, and honestly, rightfully so. Dude, these esports orgs are so shit at marketing. Dude, okay, why are esports pros like so... Like why do they have no personality? Like, I feel like when you make it as an esports pro, you should like at least force yourself to have some sort of personality to make yourself marketable. Like, okay, maybe that's a tall ask, but I don't know. I feel like I would try to, if I became a pro for anything, I would try to become as marketable as possible. Because I think that's kind of your lifeline when it comes to esports, because, I don't know. Esports, the swing in esports is so drastic that it's like super unreliable. XQC? Okay, I keep seeing this argument about XQC on my timeline like the past few weeks. XQC was a very... Okay, so first, he was a really good Overwatch player, right? And he played on like pro teams and shit. He was probably within the top 3, probably top 2 NA tanks for Overwatch, but he was by no means the best tank player in the world for Overwatch. And some people mistakenly think that he is for some reason. Yeah, XQC was actually good. I remember because I used to... Okay, I used to watch him when he was more normal and he only had like 100 views. Because back then he was just a pro Overwatch player and like he didn't do all this crazy weird shit. And so like I used to play Overwatch and I was a tank player, so I used to watch Overwatch to learn from how he played. Now... Like, he definitely was good. He was not the best player in the world by any means. The Koreans in Overwatch back when XQC was a pro player were by far... Like, the Koreans gapped every North American player and European player. Like, that without question. Because I remember the best NA teams got invited to Korea and they got fucking stomped. Like, by the worst teams in Korea. Normal? Yeah, he was relatively like he was a little like I guess normal is the closest thing to it, so I forgot Hero played Overwatch when it came out. I unfortunately did, actually. As tragic as it is, actually. I did have the misfortune of playing Overwatch. I did. This Hero, did you play a lot? Overwatch 1, I played... I probably had like 2,000 hours in it. Okay, like, to be fair, I wasn't very good at it. In like, general standards. I peaked like, what? Like mid-diamond? And like, I stopped playing. It sounds very much like an excuse, because it kind of is, but... I had to start applying for university and stuff, so I dropped Overwatch for a while, for like 2 years. And then by then I was gapped. I was an old man, old age of like 19. But I mean, it was my very first FPS game, so honestly, all things considered, not too bad, but could have been worse. Nerd. Like, he would stream consistently when he was a pro too. And that's how he got so popular, because because he did a bunch of stupid shit that got him kicked out of the pro league, right? And then that's when a lot of viewers came to him. Granted, those people are kind of rancid here and there, but you know, happens. It's a 4-star? No Yao Yao, please. You okay, that's even worse. No. Could have been League. You know, XQC was actually really good at League too. Okay, I think a lot of people don't know this, but XQC was actually like a Masters League player. He was a Masters ADC main. Which is crazy to think about, considering he's fucking terrible at League today, but... It was definitely kind of weird to watch XQC become like the person he is today, because he was so much more normal. I mean, hey, if he's happy, who cares, right? Live your life doing something you like. Money changes you? Yeah, that's also true. I think I did this already. I'm exhausted. There's not a lot to do on Genshin today, so I don't really know what to do. You guys want me to like do anything? I don't. All the content for this game fucking comes out tomorrow, so I have no idea what I'm doing. There's no way I can do the story quest today because I'm fucking exhausted. Like I want to give it my full attention. I can't today. So. Like I could explore, but it's just. Exploring in Fontaine is such a pain in the ass, honestly. Actually, I can explore a little bit. Give your full attention to the league? No, not really. I'll just like lay in bed and have it on in the back. I'll like watch it on my phone or some shit. I wake up so late, and I have to wake up semi-early tomorrow for my standards. Oh, so wait, okay. Kind of unrelated, but I played a bit of Nessus offline, like off stream. That game is kind of fun. If you like management sim survival games. I didn't do anything crazy. Offline, I was just like building my base and like crafting stuff and mining. I didn't do anything crazy. It's like I'll probably do the bosses on stream. Here and there, but dude, I want Nefer so bad. But Hero starts the mining off camera. Okay. I'm gonna be so honest with you. Nobody wants to sit here and watch me mine on screen, on stream for like 2 hours straight. All right. That's the reality of it. I'm not a hot anime woman. I'm not a muscular buff man. I'm not a stand-up comedian. I don't got it like that. I'm sorry. Oh wait, speaking of, actually, okay. I saw there was this whole controversy on Twitter from a VTuber where she was like, well, okay, I'm gonna like paraphrase what she said because I don't remember exactly. But she was essentially like, okay, hey, if you're a female VTuber that's like starting to gain traction and like is growing and stuff, if what was it? It was like if another large male VTuber or like creator or whatever approaches you and starts like showing you a lot of attention, like you should run as fast as you can. That was Bao? Oh yeah, well, I think it was, yeah. And then that was the controversial part, because to me it's like, okay, one, I think a lot of people interpreted it as like, okay, if a man shows you attention, you should avoid them at all costs. Like, okay, so that's definitely not what she said. But two, it's like, okay, given how many sex pests there are on Twitch in general, and how many VTubers, male VTubers use like VTubing and streaming as like a dating app, I feel like that's a totally valid opinion. Even then. And it's like, okay, I feel like if you get offended by it also, it's kind of a self-report. I was like, it implies that that applies to you in any way, when it really shouldn't. A lot of people just don't know how to read. That's also true. Media literacy is also at an all-time low, but like that, like, okay, even if she said, like, if men approach you trying to get your attention, like, you should run, because like they're just gonna clout chase, and like obviously that's not everyone's gonna be like that, but I feel like if you have any sort of common sense, that's like kind of obvious, so it shouldn't really matter. But like, I could give less of a shit myself. So it just actually, it got me thinking, why, or like how many people view streaming as some sort of like dating app? Because to me, streaming is like, you know, just my hobby where I have fun. I like talk to people, play games. But then like,
like, I guess it's true that people... That's wild that people actually do that. I mean, it's... Like, I was aware of it to some extent, but I was like... There's no way people start streaming and, like, put an effort to making content just so that they can go out with, like... Just so they can find people that'll date them. Like, there's no way, right? Definitely not a lot of people. No, I think in the VTuber space, it's pretty... The amount of people who do that are kind of high. Like, maybe they don't first start out that way. But it's like, okay, maybe you start out intending to have fun. And you're like, okay, I want to start streaming and, like, you know, have a lot of fun with streaming. And then you get like a community, you get like a bunch of viewers and stuff. And all of a sudden the power goes to your head. And you're like, wait a minute. All these girls will want me now. Which is, I don't know, man, maybe it's true. I don't fucking know. Need a thing. But yeah, that does sound kind of wild to me. I don't know. It definitely sounds plausible, at least. Okay, also, you say that's not common, but then you go to TwitchCon and the amount of, like, streamers who, like, prey on other streamers there too is definitely a lot more than... It's, like, at least in the double digits. Which goes to say a lot, because if you really think about it, TwitchCon is more like a business trip. And, like, some sort of a social gathering. But then you have people, like, trying to get with other streamers as, like, their primary objective. And, like, fucking spiking people's drakes and shit. Damn, that is fucking creepy. I'm supposed to shoot here with this cannon, by the way. That didn't do shit. If people do it solely with those kind of weird intentions, then yikes, yeah. Also, I feel like it's kind of obvious if you do something with, like, ulterior motives. Is it not? Well, maybe not to everybody, but... Because I know it's kind of different, but... Like, if I stream for, like, the money or, like, fame example, right? Like, it'd probably be a lot more obvious. But I feel like... Well, I try to at least emphasize that I don't do it or stuff like that. I'm having fun chilling. So some people will bring up, like, their sub count or their follower count, like, every 10 minutes in a stream. It's like, oh, shut up. Just play the game, man. Going to TwitchCon, but after this year, I'm definitely not going after seeing everything that happened. Yeah. I think, okay, also, the scary part is, a lot of the stuff that happened at TwitchCon hasn't really, like, the minor stuff hasn't really been brought to light, if that makes sense, because all the minor stuff that normally happens on TwitchCon has been overshadowed by all the big shit that happened with, like, the security and stuff. So, like,
Think about it like that. Is it easier to do it with a bigger model? Big. Okay, I'm fucking exhausted, guys. I'm gonna be so for real with you. I feel so bad though. I haven't streamed in 3 days. I got fucking, oh my god, honest to God. Oh, it's ass. Okay, here's a rough outline of my day that no one asked for, right? I woke up at like 2 today, right? Like 2 p.m. I ate breakfast. Or, okay, that's a lunch, but you get what I mean. Did I actually do anything else besides fucking work on the stupid video today? I don't actually think I did. Wait, yeah, because you know, last night I realized that the audio in one of the parts, or like the ending part of the video, was completely fucked, so I had to re-record the whole thing this morning. And it took me like half an hour. Also, recording things when you have a dog might be the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. By the way. So if you guys ever hear my dog bark in the background of a video, just know I try my best. Oh, I have to kill all the seals? No. Let the dog out? The dog was never in, no, I'm gonna be honest. The dog was never in. I'm starting to think I'm not gonna get the Nefer in time. Four seals? My seals. The seal, dude, fucking exploring on Fontaine makes me feel so guilty sometimes because sometimes it'll just be a chest surrounded by a bunch of cute animals. You have to slaughter the animals to get to them. Like, no, how could you do this? Same thing in Natland too, actually. You have to kill a bunch of the small dinosaurs to get your chest. Like, no way. Could they do this? Dude, I want to play more of the, I want to play more of this soon. Wait, they're adding more stuff. What the fuck is this? Wait, it's upgrading! Yeah. Guns and elements? 10%! Oh shit. Wait, this looks fucking cool. Third-person shooter? Well, I heard okay, the global version of this and the Chinese version are completely different. I heard the Chinese Little Astro Wonderlands has some crazy shit. Like, it looks like actual Roblox. Like action adventure supports single player. Biography of Luke. Genshin match? What the? Well, okay. Granted, this has only been out for a little while, so there isn't anything crazy, but dude, this is cool. I like this game mode. I've seen a lot of people like complaining about. Is that Animal Crossing? Wait, where? I heard puzzling portals. Oh, rebuild Fairy Town? Where'd it go? Wait, it is! It basically is! Oh shit! Hire animals to automate resource gathering. Wait, we might have to hit another Middle Astral Wonderland stream. We might have to. It's calling to me again. Maybe we'll let it sit for a bit and we'll let more maps get created, but this is cool. I saw a lot of people complaining about this game mode, saying that there's no point in it, but I think for Genshin to be like a truly like generational league style game, you kind of need some shit like that. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It doesn't really hurt me for it to exist anyways. Because it doesn't seem like they're taking away like developmental resources to maintain it either. Like they're just adding more resources if anything. It's like honestly I couldn't really give a shit, but we might have to hit one of those soon though. I'm getting fucked. My Flint's died! Oh. More maps and devs improve their game so it doesn't bug out. Yeah, I think a lot of it right now is people just trying to get out maps as soon as fast as possible so they get like XP, because apparently the structure of it is that you need to make a map and people need to play it for you to get access to more and better tools to make maps. And then once you get there, you can make better maps, and then you put those out, and then you get even better tools to make maps, and then you make like crazy maps with those. But a lot of people aren't at that stage yet. So a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now is not going to be that good. You should make your own game. I have no clue where to start. That's also way too much of a time commitment. And I don't think my background is strong enough for me to realistically think that I can make a good game. Oh. Yeah, I think another short stream today, I think. I mean, I'm done to chill and yap a little bit before I go, but I'm fucking exhausted. My eyes are closing. I can't even speak. I want to watch the Worlds game in like 2 hours too, but I feel like I'm gonna pass out. It's just not a good time, honestly. But I don't know. Thanks for chilling with me and wanting to watch the video with me, I guess. I'm actually dead. Holy fuck. If you guys have any feedback on the video or like anything you want to see next or something, let me know. I don't know, like in Discord or Twitter DMs. It doesn't really matter. Or just let me know anywhere, I guess. But yeah. Scran? Oh yeah, I should do the Scran actually. Oh wait, I can do the World too, I think, unless I reset. Or unless it didn't reset yet. Hold on. Wordle. Let's see. Brain. Ooh, not bad. Okay, I don't think it reset. Or it reset, so I think we're good. What about like shark? Oh, that would have been so good. AR? ARP? T? P? Pearl. Really? Okay, is it that? Flare. What? Glare. Okay, good. If this was another... If what happened to Sandwich happened to me, I would have been very sad. Okay, Scrandle. I'm not gonna do the Bandle today, I'm too tired. Okay, I like feel my voice going a little bit too, also. Okay. Give me the bow buttons, bro. What is that? Jerk chicken or foot long hot dog? Honestly, this doesn't look terrible. The hot dog looks a little dehydrated, but I feel like hot dogs need to be like red. Korean barbecue chicken waffle cone or Korean chicken and chips? Dude, wait, why did the food look kind of good today? Okay, okay. Normally the cones don't do too well, so I'm gonna go with this one. Yeah, for some reason cones don't do too well. Oh my god, holy American. Boomtown chili dog. The the hockey porky. Wait, the hockey the what porky now? Okay, it's gotta be this one, right? Bro, just look at the presentation. Oh yeah, oh yeah. $10. What the hell? $10. Okay, honestly, this doesn't look that good, but maybe it's just. What is that? That's the saddest slice of pizza I've ever seen in my life. I mean, honestly, this is classic American. But Christmas loaded roasties, though? I mean, that's pretty good. This also looks really good. The 2 Bud Light beers. Oh, nah. Oh, nah. Oh, nah. Okay, this cheeseburger looks fucking good. The bun looks so, like, bunny, you know? The Frankenfeast hot dog versus Katsu chicken. Give me the Katsu chicken. Wait, you guys think they'll have a special Halloween scran, actually? German dog? Wait, is that a 10 out of 10? Wait, no, not there yet. Cheeseburger with... Give me that. 10 out of 10! Yes! Ooh, Peerless Scranner. Wait a minute, today's a good day, actually. Holy fuck. Today's a great day for Scranners. 10 out of 10, that's a rare one. See around these parts. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my god. I can't believe I actually streamed today. Dude, okay, you know, I was thinking about this the other day also. About things to do on stream. Okay, cause so for Halloween, I'm doing some spooky stuff on stream, right? Which is this Friday. But for my other variety, okay, does it count for variety if I play a gacha game for variety? Okay, not even, because I've seen
CZN and DNA. Chaos Zero Nightmare or whatever, and Duet Night Abyss. I keep seeing these games on my timeline, so I might try them out at some point. Nah. I'm playing DNA right now. Wait, is it good? Wait, is DNA the game that's like Warframe? Because I played Warframe like a while ago. Like 8 years ago. Wait, and I think they removed like gacha from DNA, right? It's very much like Warframe. Ooh. I kind of want to check it out. Yeah, gacha is purely cosmetic. I mean, that's basically Warframe, so... I might try it out. Dude, my whole like Uma Musume guild has been talking about DNA. So like I'm kind of interested, but at the same time I have so many games to play that I just don't know. And CZN is it's like a turn-based card game, sort of. I don't know. But I've been seeing a bunch of people play it too. I'm enjoying the open worldness of the game. I do kind of fuck with open world. Hunting for chest at the moment. I'll think about it. Honestly, I think people would agree with Sandwich that it probably doesn't count as variety. Is it Warframe the game where people kept on spreading documents about tanks in their Discord server? I have no clue. But honestly, that kind of sounds like something the Warframe community would do, so I wouldn't put it past them. Sounds kind of believable. I'll think about it. Otherwise, I'll play some more Nessus on stream. I think the exciting parts are raised. Oh, there's a new Path of Exile League this Friday too, but I honestly don't know if I'll play. Maybe I'll do like some endgame stuff on stream, because that's like kind of dopamine. Like, maybe. I do kind of want to play some Valorant. Wait, what if I play League on Friday too? Because it's Halloween, and playing League is a scary thing to behold. Anyways, I'll figure it out. If you guys have any new game suggestions though, I'll allow it. League? Let's fucking go. So you have that side, and then you have the League disparage. Aware. No, I kind of want to play. I'll probably just play ARAM though, honestly. Because I'm a Solo King as a jungle main. It might be self-inflicted torture. It's not worth it. I find a lot of value in my own life to do that. Jump King? I'm gonna be honest, Jump King's not coming back. I hate to break it to you. Jump King makes me want to jump off a bridge. Maybe one day, maybe one day. It will? Okay, I don't know if that's in reference to making me want to jump off a bridge or that it will come back one day, but both are true, so. Yeah, I need to chill for a bit. I feel like my voice is going a little bit because I've been literally talking all day. Stream and recording stuff included, so. I have to also go out and talk to more people tomorrow and like actually go outside, so I want to not lose my voice. But thanks for coming to my stream today and like showing enthusiasm about my video, sort of. I think. I appreciate it. Ew. Get cursed if I go outside, get fucking made fun of if I don't go outside. There's no winning around here. Anyways, I will see you guys in a few days. Not sure when. Obviously I'll tell you guys in Discord, but yeah, thanks for coming to my stream today. I appreciate it lots. Yeah, stay safe, take care, don't die. Have you ever thought of silence outside? You're so stupid. Anyways, I'll see you guys next stream. Yeah, take care. Bye bye.